These are the three most expensive mistakes coaches make when they're launching their first Facebook ad or new ads. So make sure you don't make these mistakes. Number 3 is the biggest mistake, especially if you're not sure what you're doing or you don't have a lot of success with Facebook ads in terms of getting coaching clients. See, here's the biggest problem. Facebook is an amazing place to get coaching clients. You know they're there. You see your competitors running ads all the time. And it's kind of like, well, how do I get my ads out there so that I can stop posting content all day and just chasing people, start getting them to come to me as a coach? Well, that's all great. And then what a lot of coaches do is they look up some generic strategies online in terms of how to get clients from Facebook ads, and they launch these campaigns, and it ends up being a total disaster. Nobody registers, nobody books calls, or you just get a lot of broke people. Here's the 3 biggest mistakes and how to fix them. The first biggest mistake that coaches make is the wrong audience size. This is bad. You see, if your ad budget's like 10, 20 bucks a day, which, is pretty, that's okay. It's okay to start that low. I probably don't know if I'd go any lower. I mean, you go down to $5 a day, but the problem is you start getting that low. It takes a long time for you to get data. So let's say you're 10 to 20 bucks a day. I see coaches all the time running ads to millions of people. They create these audience sizes that are like 5, 10, 20 million people, and they're just targeting everybody. Or on the other hand, they create this super tight audience that's targeting like 50,000 people. The problem on both ends is as follows. Too big of an audience is like going in a kayak out on the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic or wherever you're closest to, and like fishing for some fish. It's a lot of work, and it's going to take you a long time to find that fish, right? And it's the same thing here. Your audience is so big, Facebook's not going to be able to dial in where your ad is supposed to go because they can't, with a budget that small, they're not going to like run your ad to 20 million people. They're going to try and figure out who it is most likely is going to click on it and run it to those people. But if it's too big of an audience, they're just going to spin out of control. They're never going to find your people, or they're just going to find a bunch of unqualified people. So you got to have it smaller. How small, I'll tell you in a second. Same with too small. The problem with too small is you're not giving Facebook enough room to move. So they don't have enough room in your audience to kind of the artificial intelligence to go around and find the right people. And so what's going to happen is it's going to get stuck in too small of an audience. So what we found, I've coached over 1,000 coaches, and in my own personal situation over the years of spending well in excess of $3 million on Facebook ads in the last few years alone, I can tell you that what I've found is 1 million people is a really good audience, give or take, right? If you're over a couple 100,000, if you're below a couple 100,000, but around 1 million people seems to be the sweet spot if you're at that $10, $20, maybe $30 budget. Obviously, as your budget goes up, your audience can get bigger, but right around there is that sweet spot, okay? So that's the first mistake, expensive mistake coaches make when launching their ads. Now, let's talk about mistake number 2. And this is a big one. It's the wrong messaging. Now, what does that mean? So what a lot of coaches do is they create this messaging that's extremely opportunistic and extremely broad, okay? Hypothetically, if somebody's a life coach and you help people with their mindset, just as an example, it's like, hey, are you struggling, or would you like to have more confidence and clarity and find your purpose in life? Would that be amazing? I've got 3 steps to help you get clarity, confidence, and purpose. Now, the problem with this messaging is, and this is a lot of coaches do this in various niches. Would you like to lose weight? Whatever it is. Would you like to grow your business? Number one, they're too broad. They're very conceptual, okay? Nobody woke up this morning and is like, hey, I would love it if I could have more confidence, clarity, and find my purpose. That can be true, but what is the language people are using? It's, how do I get out of a problem? People think usually in, how do I get out of something versus into something, okay? So what happens is these super broad opportunistic ads tend to just not bring in qualified people. The people you want to reach who are going to pay you for your coaching are not people who are looking for more awesomeness in their life. They're looking to fix a major problem. And your job as a coach is to help them fix that problem. So in order to help them fix the problem that they're going to pay you a lot of money for, you need to then start with the problem. So what is the problem? The problem is lack of clarity, confidence, and purpose. What does that mean? Well, maybe they feel like they're middle-aged and they're struggling all day because whatever they're doing, it's making them frustrated and depressed because they feel like they're going further backwards all day. They're not getting any closer to their goals in life, and they have more regrets. You see what I'm doing? I'm talking about the problems that they're talking about in their head using their language. Now, the other part of this is, and we'll come back to this, what I just mentioned in a second, is there's no qualifier. If you're just, and we see this all the time, coaches are just like, hey, I can help you with this, and it's going to be so amazing. Well, the problem is the people you want to work with have to have money, okay? And so you need some ability on your ad to qualify them so that they have money. Now, you can't just flat out say, don't click this ad unless you make $100,000 a year, because you'll just make people mad and they'll just give you nasty comments, right? So what you have to do is you have to figure out another strategy to qualify people. And usually that's through some sort of profession. For example, are you a professional working woman, 45 plus, is working 50 hours a week, making $100,000 a year, but you don't like, you feel like your life's a total failure? You see what I did there? I contextualized it around middle-aged working professional woman who is $100,000 a year earner, but feels like their life's a failure. So if somebody's working at some fast food restaurant, and I know fast food restaurant managers can make $100,000 a year, but you know what I mean, somebody working a night shift window for minimum wage, when they see that they're just going to keep scrolling because it's not them. And so we want to get rid of the people who are not qualified and tighten it up to get the qualified people. And so that's one big thing you have to do. So you got to do both these things with your messaging. It's got to be precise, gets to the point in terms of helping them with fixing the problem, and number two, pulls out the people who have the money, okay, and repels the people who don't. Super important you do that, or you're just going to end up with broke people who have lots of problems and love your stuff. They're not going to be able to afford anything you have. Now, number three is the most important one. Before we get to number three, I need you to do two things. Number one, hit like on this video so I know that you liked it. And then when you hit like, it's going to tell, it gives me ideas to create more videos. Second thing I need you to do, this is super important. It takes like 10 seconds. Hit the subscribe button. Now, the reason why it's so important you subscribe to this is because I currently invest roughly $1 million a year, give or take, on Facebook ads for my own coaching business. And I work with a lot of clients. And what we do is we take what I'm doing on Facebook ads to get coaching clients and what we're seeing with our client results and stuff like that, and create free videos over here on Facebook for you to share with you what's working, what's not working, what we're seeing. And you're not going to see any of our upcoming videos, and you're not going to know about them unless you hit the subscribe button. And you'll never know. One of those videos could be the exact video you need at the exact right time that's going to help your business, but you're never going to find out about it unless you hit the subscribe button. We have a ton of videos coming down the pipeline that are going to show you exactly how to get clients, what's working, what's not working, mistakes. I don't want you to miss out on any one of them. So hit the subscribe button. All right, number three, wrong campaign objective. This is bad because you can do the other two things the correct way, but if you do number three wrong, nothing's going to work. Okay, so the common campaign objectives, for what I basically mean is, what's the purpose of this campaign? You can do a boost post, which you're not going to do. Okay, it's just terrible targeting. It just doesn't work. The second thing is you can get Facebook to find people in your audience who look like the people who are clicking on your ad. Now, do you want that? No, you do not want that. You do not, because remember, left to its own device, Facebook's going to find people who will click on your ad. and they know of the people in your audience who's likely going to click. Do clicking people buy? Not always. So we want to use a conversion campaign. So what you want to do is super easy to set up. You're going to use Facebook's system to find people who look like the people who are registering. Maybe booking calls. Wouldn't it be great if you're booking enough calls? So you just tell Facebook, go find the people who look like the people who are booking calls with me. And then every time somebody books a call, it's going to trigger Facebook, and they're going to get this database basically of all the people who are booking calls with you, and they're going to go into your audience and find more people who look like the people who are booking calls. Wouldn't that be awesome? Do you not think those people are more qualified than people who are just clicking on your ad? Without question. Or you can get people who look like the people who are registering for your webinar, so on and so forth. But that's what you need to do so that you get the right people coming through your funnel. All right, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Finally, before we finish, in the description and in the pinned comment, the first comment, I have a link to an upcoming webinar that talks about the 300-word ad system I use to attract coaching clients. And what I'm going to do in that webinar is going to show you all the things, some mistakes I've made spending over 2.8 million the last 3 years on ads, what's working for our clients, what we're seeing, all this stuff that gurus are telling you that is not working anymore, and what's working now to get coaching clients starting on a small budget. So click that link, get registered for the upcoming webinar, and we'll see you there.